morning. I'm Pete Najarian. This is The Take for Market Rebellion on this Thursday morning, and a wild ride yesterday that finished off just fine, but a market that was moving and shifting and all over the place and very, very interesting. As a matter of fact, in the pre-markets, we were in the red, and then suddenly we flipped right around the time of the opening bell. We opened up about 200 points on the Dow. The NASDAQ was playing along as well, up about 145 points. It was a great start to the day, really, especially considering how things looked like they were going to start in terms of some of the opening indications. But it was providing some nice moves out of names like Salesforce and Home Depot and Walmart and Boeing and Microsoft, United Health, all of those names definitely propping up and giving the Dow a nice solid move to the upside. Matter of fact, in the first couple of hours, we were up over 400 points, and that was a pretty nice big spike, especially considering where we were in the pre-markets. NASDAQ similar, up about 145 points. It was airlines. It was names like Tesla and NVIDIA, JD, Baidu, Baba. Gives you a little bit of idea. Some of those Chinese names really starting to show a lot of participation as well. Volatility index hanging around that 25 level, and volumes. Now, I made it a point yesterday to talk about volumes, and volumes once again yesterday. We started off a little slow, and boy, did we start to rev it up. As a matter of fact, finished 29 million contracts trading yesterday. So certainly a nice move off of some of those lower levels that we were starting to hit, and it looked like we were in this decline mode. But end of quarter, a lot of different reasons maybe why. End of month, we saw a lot of paper yesterday, 29 million contracts once again. So a nice busy day. What was really participating early on? Well, financials from bell to bell really had a pretty nice day. It was Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, Bank of America, Capital One, American Express, PNC. You look through the whole list, Discover, all moving to the upside. And then on the technology side, a nice solid move. And again, a really pretty amazing move out of the NASDAQ with Tesla and Netflix and Amazon and Apple and Facebook, Microsoft, Intel. It's a really long list, guys. The consumer side of things also really starting to move to the upside as well. Names like Target, TJX, Walmart, really a pretty nice solid move across the board. Matter of fact, healthcare, another one of those where we were watching the healthcare index, the XLV, start to move up and over that 106 area. And then it did slip back a little bit, but the markets briefly breached over 500 yesterday. A lot of hopes out there about the stimulus package. Obviously, there's some vaccine talk as well. That combination of things really moving things. And wow, we suddenly got cut in half. In a really short period of time, that 500-point rally didn't look so great when we were over. We were still up, but we were up about 200 points or a little bit more than that maybe. And it cut through the NASDAQ as well. Everything just kind of got cut very, very rapidly. But we did sort of move back up to the upside late in the day. As a matter of fact, you look over at the Dow, finished up 330 points, a little over 1% to the upside. NASDAQ up about 82 points. So what were we looking at today? Well, early indications about a rise of about 140, 150 points to the upside in the Dow. Maybe the NASDAQ something very close to that, like 145 points as well. So percentage-wise, certainly a much bigger move from the NASDAQ side, about 1.25% versus 0.5% out of the Dow. Now, that was a number about 200 on the Dow, pulled back a little bit. And by the time we did open, we opened around that level, maybe even a little bit less, but we're wavering around now in this first 30 minutes of the trading session. As a matter of fact, I'm looking, we're now up about 80 points, but the NASDAQ is holding on to a big portion of those gains. We were talking about up about 140 points or so. Well, right now I'm looking at the NASDAQ, it's up about 120 points. So a pretty nice 1% move to the upside from the NASDAQ. What's a lot of the names that are powering? It really isn't so much coming out of technology right now as it is coming out of the semiconductors. You take a look over at those. Across the board, we're seeing a really nice move. NXPI, Microchip, SWKS, Xilinx, going across the board. Qorvo, another one of those names participating, all up about 3% or more. Add in Texas Instruments, maybe throw in Maxim, and you get the idea. A nice solid move to the upside. We're looking at the semis right now, up about 2%. We're also getting a nice move out of a couple of the different big sides of the Dow. That was really what was moving us early on. Names like Boeing, which we've watched this go up and down, and it's getting real close to about a 1-month high, trading above 170. As a matter of fact, we did see some unusual buying in there today. That's not going to be my focus for unusual activity. I've got one already in mind that I've already brought that name up, but it's not Boeing. But Boeing did have some very, very short-term option paper today as well. The October 2nd expiring options in Boeing. So a lot of activity there, expecting maybe Boeing's going to test those 1-month highs and maybe push up a little bit higher, trading about 170 right now. Intel, Microsoft. We also had some movement out of Honeywell that was actually powering up. So you get the idea. Some of the industrials taking over. Technology, as I said, a little bit calmer, but still a nice solid move out of Facebook and Netflix and Amazon, and throw in Apple and Google and Microsoft. Up, nothing huge, but up, and all that participation absolutely helping out in terms of the NASDAQ. Now, what we are seeing again, which is nice to see, is some of these financials starting to move to the upside. It's not a major move, but at least they're in positive territory. And I'm talking about JP Morgan and Goldman Sachs and Capital One and American Express, those names moving to the upside. So that's a nice start to the day. What's not really working right now is energy. And energy, we've talked about this time and time again, and some of the huge beta names and how much they can move on specific days when energy is under pressure. Well, energy is under pressure, trading around 39 right now for crude. That's down about 2.5% or so. But those beta names, I'm looking at Valero, Halliburton, National Oil Well, Varco, Apache, Marathon, Hess, all those names down 2% or more. I think on the top end, they're down more than 4%. So a pretty swift move to the downside from energy, but we are seeing most of the rest of the market. Matter of fact, energy was, last time I looked, the only sector, major sector that was in the red. So we'll keep an eye on that certainly as we're watching throughout the day. But we're looking at a volatility index trading. It was trading in the 25s. Now we just breached up towards 26. We've given up almost the entire gains of the Dow now. And just moments ago, I was telling you we're up about 80 points. We are now up 1 point on the Dow. The NASDAQ still holding on, up about 100 points. So sticking with the NASDAQ, what's the unusual option activity for today? I'm going to give you Netflix, and it's another 2-day expiration cycle. We were talking about Boeing. Well, we got the same thing going on with Netflix. They are buying the 515 strike calls in Netflix, about 5,500 of those. Started about $2, moved up over $4. It's holding in that sort of range right there. Stock was trading about $5.10 at the time. Now, just be aware and have a full understanding of exactly what you're looking at here when we're talking about this. We're talking about a 2-day option, Thursday, Friday, then it expires. So it's got to happen within 2 days. And what we're expecting now, especially given this shortest term that we're talking about here, 2 days, is it going to be able to make a move towards and through 515 within 2 days? Now, certainly we've seen many of these NASDAQ names that we know can move rapidly, whether it's NVIDIA or Tesla or even throw in Netflix or any of these names. They certainly can move very rapidly, but just understand this has to work in 2 days or these are worthless. They're worth nothing. So just have a full comprehension of that. How do you do that? You get educated in the options world. We talk about it all the time. This is the place to come get educated. Market Rebellion. We've got the best in the industry in terms of mentors, coaches. They can help you from the beginning side all the way into the expert side. Understand the options world. That's where the growth is, folks. I talk about it each and every day because it's very important to me and it should be important to you. If you go back in time and look and see how many options per day we're trading when I started at CNBC in 2007 in January, I can tell you those numbers are up at least tenfold, just to give you a little idea of just how fast and rapidly this industry is growing, especially what you're looking at in 2020, where we're talking about an area where it's really hard to find anything in any form of leverage. You get it with the derivatives world, and you can have yourself in a risk reward situation where you fully acknowledge and understand how much risk, and you can minimize that and still get a very nice reward. That's what we love about this options world. It's what we love about traveling and watching the smart money as it trades. And that's exactly what we do each and every day here at Market Rebellion. So take a look at the site sometime when you get a chance. Folks, have a great day of trading.